Guys sitting here all day learning. Whenever we can find. Yeah, I thought just like you. It's easy.
Oy, Hashem nasa netzliach tov. Let's learn today. We'll do a little bit mustar. Be a little bit different.
Get all up for you, throwing you the bone. Go have some steak.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shekol yom duron.
You're in the food industry.
It's true, you know. You know the meat's going up. Solomon's put out a letter. Then meat is going up. Yeah, by certain meats are going up 79%. I saw that, so it was insane.
I think they do it on purpose so people buy before Tisha B'Av. In the 9 days.
No, I don't think so.
So how long is it going to go up?
It goes up, it stays up.
It goes up, it stays up. It doesn't
People
need
buy.
to. What?
People buy. People boycott.
The problem is not whether they're going to go up. Let them go up. The problem is that older competitors are not going to stay down. This is the time for them to make money also. Even if they go up, they'll go up, but they'll be below them. You're going to go to a store, you pay $35 a pound for ribeye steak. It's ridiculous. Right, it's ridiculous. What?
Are you going to raise your prices? Это неправильно.
Inspector.
Once them...
Fish is more expensive than meat.
Yeah, right.
The truth is, it's worth it. I have a shochet, I told you, that I'll do it for me privately. Sheikh, Chumrah of the Rashba, does everything, cuts everything however you want. He sheikhs it, checks it. Anything you want, right? He checks the lungs, mamash. He takes the cleanest one, puts it aside, does everything for you.
You can do now also?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that. Let me just finish what I have and that's it. What? You have to take a whole animal.
Can I order Gospan? It's only silicone.
You can order Gospan, yeah. Yeah.
The cow is going to be too big.
Split it.
Huh?
You wanna split it?
It's too much for me. Only two of us.
So, let's go on, let's start.
Если Gospan, что может там что поделить, там, слони 30 pounds usually, but how much Gospan?
Not too much.
Yeah.
Let's go on. It says like this. Ashreichem Yisrael. You understand a little bit. Come, Isaac. Let's learn a little bit. Let's learn a little bit. Hashem wants everybody to go on diet.
That's it. To lose weight.
Hashem wants everyone to go on diet. You know, back in the day, they didn't have like this type of... a lot of people, you would go on the shechita next to you, and everything was like fresh. The Gemara says, Tanan Rabbanan, Ma'aseh Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai asher rachev al hachamor v'ayet Yerushalayim. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, he was riding on a chamor. That was their form of transportation back in the day. That was their Toyota. V'ayet Yerushalayim. And he was leaving Yerushalayim, and his students were going after him. They were all traveling out of Yerushalayim together. Right? There was Arabs, and they had animals. And the animals, you were using the restroom, and this poor girl was on the floor taking out barley from the animal's feces in order to take out the barley, to clean it, wash it, and to just make something to eat for herself. That's how poor she was. That's the family that was back in the day. They didn't have like today. Most people today, right, we use debt as leverage to make money. If there would be no credit cards, no mortgage. If there's no mortgage and no credit cards and no nothing today, most people would have a very hard time making it. Right? We use debt, we use mortgages, we use loans, we use credit cards, and we use that to our advantage to make money. To buy a house, to do this, to do that. Imagine if you'd have to pay for everything. It'd be very hard to make so much money, right? So, before they didn't have these type of things. Today they don't have these type of things, right? I mean, back in the day they didn't have these type of things. They had like a Tzedaka fund, the halachot that everybody that lives in the city must donate to the Tzedaka fund of the city. They used to have a Tzedaka fund of the city, they must donate to the Tzedaka fund of the city. Still, a lot of communities do have Tzedaka funds. Right, a lot of the communities have community tzedakah funds today. Almost every community has, right? Even the community,
weddings for orphans, everything.
We have. Even today, there's so many tzedakah funds, unbelievable. Couple gets married, there is gemachim for everything. They can get anything they want from the gemach, right? anything they want from the Gemach, right? There's Tomchei Shabbat, every week they get food. There's the Eshel Shabbat, there's this, today tzedakah is like so rampant that even if a person, lo aleinu, is poor, chas v'shalom, he still can have everything. Why? Because there's so much chesed and so much being given around, right? And not only that, people could still use debt, which is not smart, but but back then they didn't have any of this. If somebody wasn't making money, they would give them food. How did poor people eat back in the day? Say if people would have dinner at 7, poor people know 8:30 they have to go around, knock on people's door, and people know they have to leave food over for the poor people that are going to come soon and eat. And they would give it to them. Or there would be like like a place that would give them food, right? Like today they have something called masbia, right? Free restaurant, twice a day, 3 times a day.
Except for the people who have come eat there, not the people who don't have.
Yeah, you know what? You'd be surprised. One time I'm davening in shul, sitting with some guy. He has money, he has the house. He tells me, "Come, I want to go eat something." I said, "Okay, let's go." He took me out. He took me like a few blocks away, and he went to this place, Masbia. I told him, "This place is for homeless people." He said, "Don't worry, they have good food." They're eating chicken salad. What is it eating there?
Right next to my store.
Right, but Baruch Hashem, there is such a thing, right? It's called like a food kitchen.
Come on, the people eat, it's not a problem there.
Food pantry.
It's kosher.
No, like, because even though they have money, what's the big deal? If it's Jew.
I don't know. Is a mutar pilacha if it's meant for poor people? The person goes there. I'm not sure.
The green coming, I know you want to waste it, don't go in it, all the
It's made for everybody. It's made for everybody. Even though it's Jewish and it's kosher, it's made for everybody. It's government funded also. It's not all.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If the Jew will go in with his money, it's no big deal. I think. Because all the goyim are there too.
Yeah. So if to see if it's private funded or government funded. And
If it's a private, it's a problem, right?
if there's a certain criteria, it's a problem. Yeah.
If it's like government, it's okay.
It's better. It's better.
Mostly private.
I don't know if it's
I'm sure
private.
it's fun to see that all
I don't know if I think they take government from the government also.
From the government, but most of it aligned with private.
Private. So you have to.
Most is from government.
I don't think so. People think like that. It's not so true. The government's not going to pay for all the kosher food they buy. To run a kosher food place, it costs much more money than a kosher food place. It's like three times the price.
Cannot be so from people.
There was lines 3 blocks down.
With the 18-wheeler truck, semi-truck,
That's what I'm saying.
2-3 times a week, full truck.
The government. Не мог же евреи так платить, как это government.
No, it's you know much tzedakah goes on in Jewish communities?
Old people, full Holocaust, very, very well. Their name is Susan left. I need to see that. And there were other companies who matched, who donated.
You might be surprised. There's a lot of tzedakah in the world today. There's a lot of tzedakah today. There are people today that by themselves they give $100 million to tzedakah. But the Baruch Hashem, there's a lot of tzedakah today in the world. Whatever it might be. This girl is sitting down. She's taking kernels out of the animals, and the rabbi saw her. She was embarrassed. She said, "Rabbi, please help me. Give me something to eat. Give me some food. Give me something." Right? He told her, "My daughter, who's your father?" He said, "My father is Nagdimon ben Gurion." Right? He said, "Where's all the money that your father used to have?" Her father was one of the wealthiest people who ever lived. Right?
People who supported Israel that time, right?
No, yeah, back in the day. He was one of the main people, him and 2 other people, one of the main people that were the biggest Baalei Tzedakah. The Gemara asks, how did he lose his money? He used to be such a big Baal Tzedakah. It says, he didn't give what he could have gave. He gave it, he could have gave a lot more. Right?
First generation stopped already, on his own daughter. Not like after a few generations. First generation didn't make it.
Well, for the rich people, doesn't have percentage. Like for normal people, 10%, 20%.
10%, 20%, yeah.
For rich people also.
Yeah, of course.
But you said he did not enough.
Yes, he could have gave more. He didn't give what he was supposed to give. He gave a lot.
Maybe he counted, he gave 20%, it's enough.
He gave a lot, didn't give enough. He could have gave much more. If a person is making $1 billion a year, say a person is making $100 million a year, he's giving $2 million a year to tzedakah. It's not enough. He should be giving $10, $20 million a year. Why? There's so many causes, so many places, so many people that need help. You have $100 million a year, give 10, 20%. Right? So that's, it didn't give.
But let's set up like this. You make a deal, for example, November.
Yeah.
But your deal finished by January.
Yeah.
And what this profit you have to split by last year or by this year which coming?
Whenever you finish the deal and you have the money in your hand, give tzedakah.
10% or 20%.
Depends what you want, yeah.
What if you want to reinvest it? Keep rolling and rolling and reinvesting it and reinvesting it.
Sometimes you don't know when it's
You're never gonna
That's
do the
okay.
process this way.
That's okay, but I thought it's very hard like that because you're going to keep reinvesting, and you see $1 million. It's much harder to give $100,000 than to give $10,000 all the time.
But the more money you have, the more money you can make. So if you give 10% right now, you're losing more profit.
If you know 100% that you're going to give it, you could do that. You could say, listen, I have investments, they keep rolling. At the end of the year, I cash out and I separate the meister. You could do that, but you have to make
Willpower.
you have to have that willpower. Yeah, it's just much harder to separate it at the end, right? When it's the truth is, the Gemara says if a person sees that he's having a hard time financially, he should give more tzedakah. That sees he's having a hard time financially should give more tzedakah, because giving breaks the person more blessing. Not only that, the fact that you're breaking out of your nature, you're breaking through nature by giving. HaKadosh Baruch Hu also breaks his nature to give you back. Breaks the nature to give you back.
Is it true if you own money?
100% true.
If you own money,
Everybody that I know, that I see that they're very careful in giving, they're very successful. Not only that, they amass a tremendous amount of solid wealth. What?
if you own money, let's say, and you make something, you have to pay the guy you own money, or you have to answer first. Which one do you
The guy you owe money first. If a person is in debt and he owes people money, he should pay back his debt before he gives out Masrot. The Sefer Chassidim writes if a person has a lot of debt, he should get out of debt first. It shouldn't be marbeh b'tzedakah if a person's in debt.
Asking you for the money, meaning you have the debt, you're paying that slowly, but you're also doing tzedakah.
That's okay. If you have the finances coming in at a pace that you could do both, that's fine. Right, that's fine. Talking about if a person's struggling, is making $5,000 a month and he owes people $50,000, don't give so much tzedakah. Pay back people first. You owe people money, it's not your money.
You better pay the guy you own.
Pay back first. Not unless you have enough finances coming in, or like you said, nobody's bothering you. You can balance everything, that's fine.
But let's say if you pay off your debt, let's say, right, and do you have to still pay for the maaser? Let's say you made it after.
No, once you're in debt, once you're in debt and it's hard for you, you're not mechuyev to do maaser. What you could do is what the Mincha Yitzchak says. Right? This way you mekayem the mitzvah maaser. Say for example, if a person has a lot of debt and his income is a little bit low and he can't afford to do both, and he wants to get out of debt first before he starts giving the maaser. So what he could do is he could separate the maaser. For example, take your money, say $10,000, I'm separating $1,000 maaser, right? But you could take it back for yourself.
Pay your debt.
You could take it back for yourself because you need it in order to get out of debt. So you mekayem the mitzvah and then you could take it back for yourself.
And then what? You gonna put it back?
No, you could use it to pay back debt or whatever it might be.
For example,
Yeah.
And he has a debt. But he pays the debt when he has money. But he does the maaser, whether does the 20%. Can he separate from that 20%, 10% to his debt? Because he's used to already doing the 20%.
If a person is not making enough money to do both simultaneously, and if a person has a very high income and his debt for him is just a way of making more wealth, just because he's in debt doesn't mean he can take away from his maaser. It's talking about people that are financially struggling and they're putter from maaser.
Debt is not to make wealth. Debt is debt that he owes people. But that's one thing that I don't understand. You're financially struggling, but you're still giving 10%. Why are you financially struggling?
What does that mean?
The person is giving his master. He shouldn't be financially struggling.
He is. Well, if a person he has income, but it's just not enough for him. For example, if a person lives here and he needs to make $20,000 a month, so he gives maaser, 10% giving maaser, a person's guaranteed that he's always going to have a parnas, he's always going to have atzlacha. Person wants to be blessed with to be rich, you have to give 20%. It has to be on the dot. You have to be very calculative. Yeah. To be very calculative, and you give 20%, you're guaranteed to become wealthy.
Can't be more than 20.
More than
You're
20.
rounding it all. Let's say a person.
Try to be as exact as possible.
Yeah, question. Let's say a person makes, I don't know, $90. Let's say that one. He has to give, I don't know, $9, 10%.
Yeah.
But instead, he wants to give 20%. So what is it, $18? But he has a $20 bill. Can you give that $20 bill?
You could say $18 from here is maaser, the other $2 are given to tzedakah. Designated. Right?
What about if it's person do like 10 askara a year? It's also
No.
not askara for the people make shashlik or do. I mean, just to give it to the religion class, food or something. Just
Food is different. Food is different. Say if you have a shul and you want to sponsor the kiddush, if the shul is going to pay for the kiddush anyways, then you could use your maaser. But if you don't pay for the kiddush, they're not going to have a kiddush. You can't use your maaser.
But the kolol you could. If you sponsor more food for the kolol. The guys will win, right? I think
I mean, you could count it maybe as tzedaka, but I don't know if you could deduct it from your maaser. To donate food to a kolol from your maaser, I don't know if you could use your maaser money for that. It's not a necessity. It's not like if you're donating to the avrech himself, they know his own finances is one thing.
yesterday my sister
Maybe you could, I'm not sure.
My sister told me your granddaughter and grandson, they study in yeshiva. When son showed to the income tax says who is studying in the gold yeshiva, it's not counted like 10%. For boy, yes. Why is it different?
I don't understand what he said.
Basically, the Mara says it counts for girls for yeshiva, no boys yeshiva. Why does it count?
But it's same money.
It's a machloket whether or not you're allowed to use your maaser for tuition altogether. And then you have a discussion whether it works for boys or whether it works for girls. So some say yes, some say no. The best way to do it is to you pay for somebody else's son's tuition and he'll pay for your kid's tuition. Tuition with children is a little bit more complicated. People should ask the Rav what to do. It's a little bit more complicated than regular maaser. Maaser is really made to support Talmidei Chachamim and to support poor people. That's number one. That's number one use of maaser, right? So when Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai saw her, right? He said, Ashreichem Yisrael. He said when he saw this girl, he said, Ashreichem Yisrael, praiseworthy are the Jewish people. Whenever the Jewish people do the Ratzon Hashem, whenever the Jewish people are doing what Hashem wants them to do, there's no nation in the world that could overcome them. Meaning to say, when the Jewish people are righteous, and they're behaving the way they're supposed to be behaving, and they're not doing Avirot, and they're serving Hashem, and they become the top. No nation in the world can bother them. Like you see in the Navi over and over again, when the Jewish people are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, everybody is under them. Nobody could bother them. Nobody could do anything to them. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives them full protection, right? But when we don't do what Hashem wants, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives the Jewish people over to the lowliest of all nations. And not only that, He gives them over that even the animals of this lowly nation, right, is going to be something that we're going to be needy of, right? So you see from like this case over here, right? But the question is, right, why did He say over here, Ashreichem Yisrael, praiseworthy are you, the Jewish people, that when you do what Hashem wants, you go to the top. When you don't do what Hashem wants, you go all the way to the bottom. So going to the top, I understand, Ashreichem Yisrael, praiseworthy. But why Ashreichem Yisrael, praiseworthy, that you go all the way to the bottom? What's so praiseworthy about that? That's not something that we should be so praiseworthy about, right? So he says, in order to understand the answer to that question, we're going to contemplate on something in the Tehillim. Tehillim says, Mizmor li David be'borcho b'bnei Avshalom. It says that Avshalom, David HaMelech's son, wanted to kill him, right? He felt for whatever calculations Avshalom had that he wanted to kill him, whether he felt like his father wasn't suitable to be the king, or whether he felt like he was more suitable to be the king, or whether he just wanted to do it out of wickedness, whatever it might be, right? David HaMelech, what did he say? Mizmor le David. David HaMelech said Mizmor. David HaMelech is singing to Hashem when he's running away from his son Avshalom who wants to kill him. Right? So everybody asks the question, why does it say Mizmor le David? It says you should have said Kina le David. Kina is like a Tisha B'Av, Kinot. Like what was the English word for Kinot? I don't remember. Right? Lamentations, right? There's some lamentations, like something depressing, something sad. Right? Why does David HaMelech say Mizmor le David? David HaMelech is singing to Hashem because he's running away from his son. It should say Kina le David. Right? It's a difficult time now. Why is he singing to Hashem? Right? So it says, you know what it's compared to? It says a person that owes money to somebody. Before he pays it, he's sad. After he pays it, he's happy. Right? So it says like David HaMelech. Right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu told David HaMelech, Hineni mekim alecha ra'ami beticha. Right? Hashem punished David HaMelech. He said, you're going to have evil come out of your house. Right? You're going to have suffering from your own house. That was his curse that he had because of the sin that he did. Whatever you want to call it a sin, you don't want to call it a sin. Right? David HaMelech sinned, the Navi came to him, right? And then the Navi told him, because of your sin, right, you're going to have a lot of Yisurim, and not only that, you're going to have evil come from even amongst your own house. Your own household is going to go against you. Right? Like Chazal tell us, "B'ritzot Hashem derech ish, gam ohevav Hashem ito." That if HaKadosh Baruch Hu really loves the way of man, if a person is fully righteous, right? Even his enemies are going to be his best friends. The Gemara says, even the mosquito is not going to bother you. Right? Hayatzuv, David HaMelech was sad. He's thinking to himself, what if it's going to be some servant or some mamzer? He's not going to have mercy on me. He's going to want to kill me. Right? Once he saw it was Avshalom, his own son, he said, oh, Mizmor David. He's singing to Hashem. Why? He didn't know who it's going to be. Once he saw it was his own son, he felt, okay, it's my own son. He's going to have mercy on me. It's not going to be so bad. Right? For that, he sang to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. For the good in the difficult situation. It could have been worse. Right? But even here, he says, you have to contemplate. Right? Why was David HaMelech so happy? That he made a mizmor, that it was his own son, that he's going to have mercy on him. We know clearly that Avshalom didn't want to have mercy on him. That Avshalom wanted to kill him. Right? It says that when David HaMelech, when he was running away from Avshalom, so he was very tired. He was exhausted. So Achitophel, which was David HaMelech's rabbi, it was Bathsheba's grandfather, he was supposed to be a very big Talmid Chacham, Achitophel, but the Chachamim call him a Rashat. Right? He was supposed to be the chief, right? Why? He went and he told Avshalom how to kill David HaMelech. He was very bright, very clever. He knew David HaMelech very well. He came to Avshalom, he two-faced David HaMelech, said, I'm going to tell you, I'll kill your father. Right? He says, right now your father is tired. He's exhausted. It's late at night. He's not going to be able to fight back. Take all the army and go attack now. You're going to win. But what? What?
Why he didn't?
There's a few different answers why he did it. Some that say he was still very upset what David HaMelech did to Bathsheba, his granddaughter. That he killed her son, her husband, or something. Right? So, Achitophel told him, go and kill him. And right, Vavo elav, v'ikiti et HaMelech levado. We're going to go and kill the king. It says Avshalom was very happy. Right? And not only that, it says by David HaMelech, he himself said, right, Heni beni, this is my own son that came out of me that wants to come and kill me. If it wouldn't have been for Chusha Archi that came to Avshalom and he was really on David HaMelech's side and he pretended that he was on Avshalom's side, right? And Chusha Archi was also very bright, he was also very clever. And he convinced Avshalom that Achitophel's plan is wrong. But he knew that Achitophel's plan was right. But he convinced Avshalom that Achitophel's plan to go attack David HaMelech was wrong, and he gave him a whole different plan on how to kill David HaMelech. And that whole different plan on how to kill David HaMelech was a setup for Avshalom to be killed, not for David HaMelech to be killed. And it says it was from Shamayim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put in the heart of Avshalom to accept Hushai's plan and not Achitophel's plan. Because if he took Achitophel's plan, he would have killed David HaMelech. So Hashem saved David HaMelech by Hushai giving Avshalom a different plan, and Avshalom accepted it. And Achitophel, it says, he knew that the fact that he too faced David HaMelech, and he didn't take, Avshalom didn't take his advice, Achitophel, I think, killed himself. Why? Because he knew that David HaMelech is going to kill him, because he knew that Hushai's plan is wrong. He saw it, that Hushai's plan is wrong. He was a very big Chacham, right? And he realized that the situation is going to turn against him. He thought he was going to two-face David HaMelech and get away with it. And then he realized he's going to go down. Right? So we see from here that what? How could we say David HaMelech was thinking to Hashem that Hashem sent his own son to be against him, that his son is going to have mercy on him. But it's not true. You see clearly his son didn't want to have mercy on him. His son wanted to kill him. Right? Why is David HaMelech so happy that he's saying Mizmor? I should have said Kina. I said, you know why? I'm going to give you an answer to this, he says. Rav Yonatan Abish is right, based on Lebena Nilke. Right? Imagine a son that his father has to give him a patch. His father has to give him a patch. And so what does he do? He goes and he sees it's his father hitting him and punching him and punishing him, telling him, you know, I'm punishing you. So the son, he knows that at the end of the day, his father has mercy on him. There's going to be an end, there's a purpose, there's a reason why it's happening. He feels like there's a whole picture behind what's happening here. There's a certain sense of mercy towards the father and the son. But if the son will be so wicked that the father doesn't even want to see his face, right? He goes, sends somebody else, go punish him, right? This way the son gets very nervous, because now the father is removed from the picture. It's like somebody else. It's very cruel, very painful, right? He doesn't know when the cruelty is going to end, right? It says many times when people get punished, they get punished based on nature, right? There's nature HaKadosh Baruch Hu created in the world, and there's a spiritual nature that what a person does, action, reaction, person has to get punished for whatever he did, right? But there, that's called Hester Panim. Hester Panim is when HaKadosh Baruch Hu removes his presence from the person, and automatically tzarot start to come into a person's life, right? And what does the person do? He says, oh, it's this one, it's normal. He woke up with a headache, this happened, that happened. He blames everything on nature, thinking everything is normal, right? But he doesn't realize that it was his own avirot that created this situation, right? It was his own avirot that created this situation. It says that Chafetz Chaim writes, the Gemara says that at the end of the days, before Mashiach comes, the generation is going to be, the face of the generation is going to be like the face of dogs. What does that mean? Face of dogs, what does that mean? Huh? No. The Chafetz Chaim says, if you take a dog, you take a stick, when you hit the dog, right, the dog is always attacking the stick. He doesn't realize that you're hitting him. He's attacking the stick. He says people the same way. He says people are going to get makot from Hashem. Wake up, do teshuvah, realize, right? Instead of realizing this is happening from Hashem, they think, oh, this guy messed me up on a business deal. Now I lost money over here. I woke up with a headache. This one got sick. And this and that. That doesn't realize that these things are all HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Everything that's happening is happening from Hashem, right? But everything that's happening is happening from Hashem. But he's trying to tell you that the sickness will be that people won't realize it's from Hashem, right? Back in the day, when something happened to somebody, realized this is from Hashem. People did tshuva, people changed, right? You find in the Tanakh, the Jewish people, they became very wicked. They started doing a lot of horrible things, and Hashem said, I'm going to punish them in order to make them the tshuva to stop. What did Hashem do? Hashem made a king get up, say, you know what, these Jewish people, I'm going to go to Israel, I'm going to overcome the country, I'm going to make them my slaves, they're going to pay me taxes, I'm going to become wealthy off of them.
It's 90%.
Where did this thought come from? As a punishment from Hashem. He came, I forgot which king it was, he overcame the Jewish people. 18 years he was tormenting them. The Jewish people were not allowed to build houses, not allowed to eat meat. They couldn't even put cement in the houses. You could only put brick, a little bit like this, live inside, right? He would torment them. If you would see Jewish people eating meat, he would take it away. Soldiers everywhere. Why? Keep the Jewish people poor. They work, they pay. That's it. Taxes. Yeah. Why? It says it was a punishment from Hashem to the Jewish people because they were behaving so wickedly. The Avodah Zarah, non-Jewish girls, they were doing every Averan. The Baruch said, yeah, you're going to learn the hard way, right? Either or you're going to do tshuvan, right? You're going to learn the hard way. And what happened? The Jewish people started screaming, crying out to Hashem, begging them, please Hashem, save us from this tsar. Hashem said, you know, I had mercy on you. They did tshuva, they realized what they're doing wrong. Hashem sent somebody from amongst Klal Yisrael and got up, he fought back, and they took back all their charge. But everything is min Hashemayim, everything is calculated, right? But what happens, many people just think, it's this, it's that. They blame everything for the causes around them. But they don't realize that it's really HaKadosh Baruch Hu that's really the one that's doing everything. Right? Just like HaKadosh Baruch Hu pays wicked people back in this world for their mitzvot that they did. The Gemara says, the Mishnah and Kiddushin says, that you have people that they look like they're burning the whole Torah and they're doing one or two mitzvot and Hashem repays them back as if they fulfilled the whole Torah. And then you have people that fulfill the whole Torah and their lives look like they burn the whole Torah. What does that mean? Right? Is that wicked people, it's hard for people to have two worlds. Chazal say, for a person to have this world and the next world, not everybody can have. Sometimes it's like this or like that. Right? But a person that's wicked, a person does a lot of it, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu pays him back in this world. Right? Gives him good kids, house, money, everything. Gives him back everything in this world. But he looks like Rasha, this person, look all the Avirah that he does. Hashem says, yeah, this is his reward in this world. And the next world, there's nothing there for him. Gonna go to Gehinam, just to clean out his Neshaman, and that's it. People think, oh, Gehinam is easy, nothing's gonna happen over there. Exactly the way a person would feel pain in this world in his body is exactly the way Hashem is gonna make him feel over there. There's no, it's not something, okay, I'm not gonna feel it. The way you are now is the way you're gonna feel over there. Exactly who you are. Right? But the other way around, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when people are righteous, when people are trying to be good, when people are trying to change, but they have Avirot, Hashem says, listen, this guy has Avirot. I want him to come to Olam Haba. The Ramban says, one moment of Gehinam is worse than 70 years of suffering like Yaakov. So Gehinam is a very difficult place.
Opposite. 1 minute and the Gan Eden.
Gan Eden, yeah, it's better than all the pleasures in the world to come. Why? So you see that Gehinam is a very severe thing. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want people to go there. So Hashem says, you know what? I'm going to give this person difficulties in this world. Right? This one happened, that happened, this difficulty happened, this happened, right? The person says, Baruch Hashem. Gamzu l'tova. Why? Kol man d'varachana l'tova. Everything that Hashem does is for the good. When a person recognizes that, it purifies a person from his sins drastically. Why? Kadosh Baruch Hu wants to give a person kapara for what he did, so he comes up to Shemayim clean. Doesn't need to go to Gehinam, doesn't need to come back in Gilgul, nothing. Go to Gan Eden. So Hashem gives him the difficulty in this world. So when he's suffering in this world, it purifies the person's soul, he doesn't have to suffer in the next world. Right? But he looks like such a righteous person, but he has avirot. Right? En tzaddik ba'aretz asher lo yichata. So everybody has some sort of avirot that he needs some sort of a kapara for. Some more, some less. Right? And therefore Kadosh Baruch Hu gives such a person yisurim in this world. Right? In order to purify him so he comes to the next world clean. But the Rishaim the other way around. He says, you know, in this world you do whatever you want, and the next world will take care of it. Why? Because if they come to the next world, they're going to say, hey, Hashem, I gave Tzedaka Yom Kippur, I gave Tzedaka Rosh Hashanah, I bought Ne'ilah for $50,000, right? I put on tefillin 2 times a year, and my son's bar mitzvah, whatever it is, right? Mitzvah I did, where is schar, where is the reward? Hashem says, I already gave it to you in this world, I don't owe you anything anymore, right? Now it's time to clean up your neshama, it's time for you to answer for everything you did, right? It says tzaddikim, they're happy when it comes to different when they have yisurim. Why? Because they go look up and they understand that it's min hashamayim. They know that whatever happens to me in life is min hashamayim. And if Hashem is doing it for me, this is the best thing for me. Right? And when a person accepts his yisurim ba'ahava, with love, it purifies a person much more. And not only that, if a person really accepts the difficulty that he's going through with love and he thanks Hashem for it, the Ben Ish Chai says that in of itself has the ability to remove those sufferings from a person. When a person accepts the suffering with love, the Ben Ish Chai says he removes the suffering from its source and is able to remove it completely. It's a very big ma'ala. Right? Right? Especially when Hashem punishes a person which is above nature, something abnormal and not natural, then a person sees, wow, you could see Hashem's intervention in the suffering. Right? There, the tzaddikim are happy because they know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is running their life and Hashem is giving them yisurim for their own benefit. Right? And that's how Yonatan ben Abishitz explains the Gemara. Since HaKadosh Baruch Hu told David HaMelech, Hineni makim alecha rami beit yechan, you did avera, you have to answer for it. You think you're just going to do something and get away with it? You're going to suffer for it. Right? So what happens, Hashem said, you're going to suffer for the avera that you did. I'm going to make sure from your own house, evil is going to come to you. Right? From your own house, your suffering is going to come. Right? They say a similar idea. Right? It says, Meshiv ra'a tachot tova lo yamush ra mitoch beito, Chazal tell us. A person that's an ingrateful person, right? A person that somebody did something good for you and you did something bad to the person in return, or you're ingrateful to the person, you think to yourself, I don't need him anyways, what do I care? Should have not done it. Right? But I need him to do me a favor. Such a person, ingrateful person, Chachamim say, an ingrateful person like this, lo tamush ra mitoch beito. In his house, there's always going to be problems, always going to be suffering. Why? That's his punishment. You have no hakarat tov, you don't recognize, you don't appreciate the good that people do for you. From your own house, you're going to have sisurin, Chachamim say, chas v'shalom. Right? Therefore, it's very important, right, for people to be grateful, to be appreciable. Right? But just a side point along this statement, right? So David HaMelech was a little bit sad. He was concerned, right, that maybe some eved, some servant or somebody's gonna, from his own house, is gonna get up and try to kill him. But that's natural. If a person has a servant and a servant develops hatred towards him, right, and now he wants to kill him, it's a natural thing, right? But his own son that should get up and try to kill him and try to go against him, that's abnormal. Your own son to get up and try to kill you, that's abnormal, right? So when David HaMelech saw that his own son is trying to kill him, that his own son got up and trying to kill him, David HaMelech said, this is abnormal, this is not normal. The fact that I see that these Yisurim are not normal, that it's above nature, there he got happy. Why? Because he realized that this is a direct Hashem's hand, directly. Hashem didn't just leave him to nature and say, you know what, let nature take its course, and the Yisurim are going to come to him as is, right? No. He saw that it was abnormal and above nature, the suffering that he was receiving. He realized that everything is like puppeted by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That he made him happy. That he realized that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is exacting suffering for him. exacting suffering for him. So then he says, Derech Agav, I just pointed out, it's mentioned of Yonatan Abishitz. The Ben Ish Chai brings up Yonatan Abishitz. He says, how come in Vidui we say Chatanu, Avinu, Pashanu, right? Why are we specifying every single Avirah? Right? Why don't we just say Hashem, we were over every Avirah in the Torah, Mechilokun, right? Why do you have to specify every single Avirah? The Ben Ish Chai says, you know why? He brings up Yonatan Abishitz. He says that sometimes a person can be punished for his Avirot more than his Avirot. How could it be? How could it be? He says that, if I remember correctly, he says that when a person can have a lot of avirot, and for him this avirah, that avirah, it's all the same, he doesn't care, right? So when Hashem brings suffering on the person, right, he doesn't assess the suffering to be exact, he just opens the door to suffering and let it fall upon a person. Just like a person doesn't care about his avirot, so to the suffering come in the same way. Right? Comes drastically. Suddenly his son did this, his daughter did that, this one went like that, this one. Everything is, right, balagan wa'aleinu bar minan, right? Uncontrollable, chas v'shalom. Right? But he says when a person is exact, he says, Hashem, I did this avirah, I did this avirah, I did this and that. You take your avirot exact, you're very particular, so when Hashem is going to also have to give you a kaparah for avirot, everything's going to be very particular and very exact.
Okay, but you pray today, tomorrow we do again our you have to do again every day?
Every day do
It
tshuva.
doesn't change anything.
No, you do. You have to change. A person himself has to change. A person has to do tshuva every single day. Every day a person has to do tshuva. Every day a person has to grow. Every day a person has to change. Every day a person has to work on himself. Every night the Ramchal says a person has to come home, look back to himself and say, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? I woke up late today. Tomorrow I'll try to be better. Right? I davened today the whole tefillah without any kavana. Tomorrow I'll try to be better. Right? Today I didn't learn. I decided I'm going to go home instead. Tomorrow I'll be better. I lied to somebody. So I lied today to a customer. I did this, right? Or I wasn't nice to my wife today, right? Or right? Or whatever it might be. I spoke lashon hara today, right? A person has to make that calculation at the end of the day and tell himself, tomorrow I'm going to be better. Tomorrow I'm going to change, right? Tomorrow I'm going to wake up a little early. Tomorrow I'm going to daven a little bit kavanah. I'm going to be more careful. I'm going to be nicer to people. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to, right? A person has to be changing on a daily basis, for sure, right? That's called cheshbon hanefesh. That's how a Jew is supposed to live. That you're supposed to always strive to become a better person, a better father, a better husband, a better employer, a better everything, right? A better servant of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. A person always has to be striving and growing upwards. If a person is not growing, the Gevil Lagon says he's always going down. There's no such thing as staying where you are. If you're not going up, you're going down. There needs to be an awareness. A person needs to live with an awareness throughout the day that there's a purpose, that a person has to come to a completion. A person has to come closer to Hashem. A person needs to be a better person in every areas. Unfortunately, many people don't understand this, right? Many people think I am who I am. So people think it's normal to be arrogant. It's normal to be impatient. It's normal to be angry. This is normal. This is the part of life. But these are not normal. These are normal, but they're not normal because they're imperfections that a person has to perfect. If a person doesn't perfect himself, right, then he'll always be imperfect, right? To try to perfect the other person. He said, this is not nice. He did this is not nice. Right? Always point your fingers at somebody else. If you yourself would have corrected yourself, you would have been able to accept the situation much differently, right? What you saw may have not been what you saw, and what you felt may have not been what you felt, right? There's a person has to live with that recognition. He says also the Gemara earlier on, right? The Gemara earlier on, that it says, praiseworthy are the Jewish people, when they do what Hashem wants, they go all the way up. When they don't want to do what Hashem wants, they go all the way down. It says that's the ma'alah, that's the greatness over here. Is that the fact that we see that what we do, we go up or down, we see that it's completely guided by the hands of Hashem. That's the praiseworthy part of it, right? That's the praiseworthy part of it, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu behaves with the Jewish people above nature. Above nature, He behaves with us above nature, whether it comes to punishing us or whether it comes to rewarding us. As it says, Shivtecha mishantecha imay nechamuni, right? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu's staff and HaKadosh Baruch Hu's ability to let us rely on Him is what comforts us. Why? Ben shenachat anenu shevet, right? Ben shema shenach liftoach, bo mishenet, right? The person knows that his suffering is from Hashem, but a person also knows he can turn to Hashem. That comforts him, because he knows it's from Hashem and I can turn to Hashem. It's like one picture type of a thing. Same idea, when a person knows that everything that we do, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to be there on top of us. Right? If we do what we're supposed to do, Hashem brings us up as a nation. If we don't do what we're supposed to do, Hashem brings us down as a nation. But the fact that we see Hashem is always holding on to the scale, Hashem is bringing us up, Hashem is bringing us down, that in of itself should be a comfort for us, because we always know at the end of the day we're in the hands of Hashem. At the end of the day, no matter what we do, Hashem is always going to be there for us. Hashem always loves us, and again, like the Rambam says, a person one day could be a wicked person, right? Bal Averot, Mishukatz, completely, right, disgraceful in Hashem's eyes, but the day he does tshuva and he decides, I want to change, I want to become better, at that moment it says that person, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in Hashem's eyes, is elevated to a different person altogether, right? But when a person realizes that we're Hashem's children, right, and he realizes that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does everything for us, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu always brings situations to us that Hashem wants us to realize that what we do is not from us. A person is going to go out to work today. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you to understand, it's not my job that's going to bring me my money. It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu that's going to decide how much I'm going to make today. It's going to be a good day or a bad day. Am I going to have atzlacha today? Right? All those things are going to be decided by Hashem already. Right? But what's going to be decided by you is whether you want to be honest or you don't want to be honest, whether you want to be nice, how you going to do at work. Right? All those things, how are you going to grow and how are you going to become better from the job that you actually do? That's really up to you, the spiritual aspects of it. But the physical aspects of your job are already predetermined by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, everything that a person is supposed to make. You just have to do your shtadlut. You went to work, you did what you're supposed to do, whatever is supposed to come is going to come. But in the middle of everything, of how you're going to grow spiritually from here out the whole day, that's really up to you. So we'll stop here.